Back with Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, 1910 Britain campaign in version 1.03, which I believe has gone live now. Still showing beta for me, just because I'm opted into the beta. But I think that's in the main game now. In any case, where we left off last episode, we saw that we have a capital ship battle with some friends on both sides. Here, just off the English coast, close to Yarmouth. We've got 3 ships, including one of our battle cruisers, against 6 ships, including one of their battleships. So, let's see how this goes. I am acknowledging in advance all of the boneheaded moves that I make or don't make, or good moves that I don't make in this battle. So there, blanket disclaimer. Alright, let's turn off our torpedoes. There's Scout again. Just getting a lot of action. HMS Terrible. I think it might be the first time we've seen her. She's getting a turn. Calatea taking a rest. Okay, let's see. I think for now Scout can just follow along behind. Smoke to the east, so somewhere vaguely over in this direction. I think this course is probably okay for now. Surely with 6 ships they can't. There we go. Alright, this is probably the battleship. It is. So I want to make sure Hercules' 12-inch guns remain on her the entire time. $10 kilometers. Okay. There's some smoke, so there's light cruisers and destroyers. Ah, there we go. Particularly want Hercules getting much closer to the smaller ships than that. Light cruiser. So it's got to be a light because it's smoking. It's not a heavy. However, that is not the Stuttgart class that we have been seeing. That's a new one. Using the semi-armored cruiser hull. And okay, don't have the other one spotted yet. This looks like that kind of looks like that's probably the destroyer division there. Turn Hercules away to angle her side better. bit more than that. That ought to work. There's a DD. Yeah, and this is one of the Stuttgart class older light cruisers on the light cruiser hull. I'm going to have terrible switch fire to this cruiser here. Same with Scout. Ooh, nice work by Terrible on this, what I think is a semi-armored cruiser. The only reason I think that's a... Oh no, that's... No, that's the destroyer. There's the semi-armored cruiser here. No, that's another destroyer. And have Hercules shoot secondaries at this destroyer. Oh, fire coming from over this way. That's where the semi-armored cruiser is. Slow to cruise for accuracy's sake. The other ships match that. Otherwise, they'll start fishtailing around behind. Scout's the only ship that we have that can smoke. I don't think she's actually taking any fire right now, so I don't see any reason to. Yeah, Terrible's the one taking the battleship fire now. Terrible and Scout can both be shooting HE at that destroyer. For that matter, Hercules might ought to be firing HE at Preußen. Preußen? Preußen. I'm going to go with Preußen. That might be wrong. I don't know. Preußen's hit percentage is not that bad. Terrible might, she might take a few licks here. I'm afraid. Like that. Yeah, at this angle we're getting ricochets from the 12-inch guns. I'm going to switch Hercules to HE as well. Smack. The destroyer's getting beat up pretty good. Preußen has switched main battery fire back to Hercules, which is fine. Okay, this destroyer is not much of a threat. I'm going to shift the cruiser's fire to v.28. That I think that's a new destroyer design as well. Let's have a look at it. 10,091 tons, 28.1 knots, 4-inch. Nope, that's the same. That's the same V1 class we've been seeing. Interesting. Pretty sure we saw that Germany had incorporated a new destroyer design, the V20. But I guess is continuing to build some of her newer destroyers under the old design anyway. Which we've seen them do with, in the little info box, the notifications. Looks like they've been doing that with other classes as well. So this is an old class. Or games campaign start class. Okay, well, someone's been shooting at Scout. I guess maybe you ought to smoke up there. Okay, so we've got 2 destroyers, 2 light cruisers, both of them the old class. Okay, well, I guess that one ship is an armored cruiser. CA. The only reason I thought it was a light was because I could have sworn it was in the middle of a smoke screen. I guess maybe it was sailing through right by one of its unspotted destroyers. That was the only reason I thought that, but my process of elimination, it has to be their CA after all. So it's probably a Silence class. I know some guys can just look at a hull and tell. I'm not one of them. It certainly looked like an armored cruiser, but I thought he had used the semi-armored cruiser hull, which counts as a CL, even though it looks like a CA. To the less practiced eye, like my own. Alright, so we're doing pretty good in the disparity between hits and damage. Of course, a lot of that damage went on that one destroyer. But Preußen has taken a little bit more structured damage than Hercules has, so things are going alright. I'm keeping it slow. I'm trying not to fall for the, oh my god, suddenly there's torpedoes. And I mean, they're all, it doesn't look like it's good geometry yet, but if I speed up, then later I'll forget. So far, v.28 has not had a lot of rounds impact. Couple of hits there on Preußen. Continuing to get worse than she is well, yeah. She's dealt 443 damage overall to her various targets, but has received 948. Hercules is doing fine, with 45% accuracy. And she's landed a total of 46 hits. Of course, a lot of them were ricochets, or blocked. Oh, there's a good smack on v.28. She'll start taking a few more hits now that her smoke screen is dissipated. One would hope. Hercules takes a rudder hit, So this is a good question. This compartment just forward of the rudder is completely destroyed. This little compartment right on the rudder is partially damaged. So which of these rooms is actually, which of these compartments is actually considered to hold the steering gear room? Which would have bearing on whether this rudder damage will be repaired or not. We shall see. And then sure enough, it's a bad angle. That looks to be aimed at Scout. So Scout can just come over this way and she should be fine. It looks like Terrible maybe ought to come left just a little bit. V-28 on its last legs, but not before she got her torps off. All right. I think both Terrible and Scout can probably go back into follow without any problems. Oops, I messed that up. Keep going straight, Hercules. You are. That's fine. Yeah. Nope, Scout. I want you to finish off that destroyer. Well, this destroyer is not going to catch back up. Doesn't remain so it's really not much of a threat because of its propulsion damage. It's not going to speed back up even after she reloads. And both of the cruisers are, because of the increasing distance and the smoke, well, she's not even spotted anymore. So for now, I think everybody can just, there you go, unload the HE. Help out with Preußen. And then when these light cruisers get a little bit closer, we'll shift fire to them. I'm just maintaining course. Matter of fact, I think I'll even angle away a little bit more. It's starting to get pretty flat. Oh, Preußen's taking some propulsion damage. And destroyed compartments here. So, you know, that's not getting fixed. That's permanent now. Someone made a good comment about, you know, I talked before about how these icons, it didn't make sense to me that they corresponded to engines, because there's 3 of them. And then someone made an astute observation that these seem to correspond to compartments. So it's probably these 3 compartments here to which these correspond. Because notice, it's number 2 and number 3. Which kind of begs the question, if these are 2 and 3 right here, which is number 1? Is this number 1 or is this number 1? And that may vary from ship to ship depending on where the stack is, where the funnel is. And if this is the location of the funnel right here, I would assume that this compartment, if the propulsion plant is centered underneath the stack, sorry, that's just the term that I am used to using, underneath the funnel, then this is probably the remaining propulsion space. And Preußen is maybe trying to disengage now. You know, at that angle, yeah, I'm going to switch Hercules back to auto. I'm in this mode where when I do want to use AP, I use auto under the assumption that it will fire AP with the main guns, but keep firing HE with the secondaries. Whereas if I choose AP, my assumption is that all guns will fire AP, would be the logical thing there. And I don't want the 5-inchers firing AP at the battleship. I would much prefer that they keep firing HE. I just hope that auto actually works that way. It's kind of hard to tell, for sure. Terrible's taking some propulsion damage of her own, which is not going to get repaired. Doesn't look like. And the same sort of thing. Here's the funnel. So I would guess it would be 1, 2. That these would be the 3 propulsion spaces here. And yeah, engine 1. So it looks like maybe it goes 1, 2, 3 from aft to forward, or left to right in the diagram. Okay, so I've got Scout. Scout is in follow behind Terrible, who is now speed limited. 14 knots. Which means these light cruisers are going to start catching up. I'm going to go ahead and shift the cruiser's fire to Palau. Now looks like Hercules was already doing that with secondaries anyway. Almost 8-kilometer distance. I don't want the range to increase too much. And we're down to 12% accuracy due to the increased distance. And I do not want Preußen to go unspotted either. I'm going to go ahead and turn back this way. Still that armored cruiser somewhere back here. Although I haven't seen any incoming shells from that direction. She may... Nope. There she goes. Makes a liar out of me as soon as the words are out of my mouth. Penetration chance is dropping off. I'm gonna keep it on. Keeps dropping off. Is Preußen turning? No. It's just distance, I guess. Plasma's been taking fire for a while. Not very much effect, it must be said. Still a couple torps at her. She'll maneuver. Maybe that'll slow her down a little bit. Because she's going to have to maneuver. Well, she's starting to take a little bit of damage. Okay, they didn't want to fire on save. Terrible liked the shot on normal. Let's turn that back off before I forget. Okay, Palau has just fired at somebody. Given who she's been targeting with her guns, it's probably a pretty good assumption that Terrible is the target. Terrible, who has a busted rudder. I'm just going to go ahead and turn her now. Oh, there was a nice pop on Poison. Poison down to almost 50% structure. Yep, as expected. Kohlberg is just fired as well. So Terrible needs to continue that turn. Because that torpedo would have been fired with Terrible on about this kind of heading, so it would be aimed kind of this way. Still less than 10 kilometers. Poison almost getting pretty low on 12-inch ammo. Her 12-inch ammo. Hercules' 12-inch HE is slowly wearing Poison down. Alright, what's up with this? I mean, I ordered Hercules down to 19 knots cruise speed ages ago. Yet she remains doing... Oh no. Okay. Okay, so this is misleading. I thought when you did this mouse over, it would tell you the actual speed. It doesn't. It I guess is the max speed available. She's actually doing 19, as she should. Okay. And in Terrible's case, they match up because okay, I don't really understand why I am mousing over Terrible's division, but it's giving me Hercules' data. Oh, because, well, I don't know why. 13.4 knots. Because that is the max speed available in her damaged state. 2 light cruisers have not fired again. I forgot what my last order to Hercules was. Here, just let's go rudder midships. Still working on Palau. Hercules secondaries firing at Kolberg. That's fine. Foyston's not going anywhere. I'd kind of like to get these light cruisers out of the way so I can close on Preußen unhindered. So I'm going to shift 12-inch to these light cruisers. Hopefully it won't take very many rounds to disable them. Like that. Okay, neither cruiser is fired yet, and I wouldn't expect them to. You got pretty bad geometry no matter what their target is at the moment. Alright, Kolberg's getting a pasting now. I don't think she's getting that propulsion back. She's slowing. Given that, I'm going to turn Hercules back up in this direction. I'm going to go ahead and go to max speed. I want to get Preußen spotted again. Alright, I'm going to break Scout off. Have her run up ahead, max speed. Just until Poison gets spotted again. There was a nice smack on, I think, Kolberg. Kolberg has fired again. This torpedo here. Okay, well, I guess I avoided that one. And that did not look like 12 or 11-inch rounds. It might have been. It might have been 11-inch. But that could also have been their unspotted armored cruiser. Oh, there's something over here. Yep, there she is. I think I want to save these remaining rounds on Hercules for if and when Preußen gets spotted again, like right there. All right, there you go. Keep the secondaries on the cruisers. I'm going to put main on save, though. Maybe wait till we're a little bit closer. Well, the gunnery officer likes his chances at 5.2%. Okay, Palau has fired. The question is, at whom? Under the assumption it's Hercules. Go ahead and make a turn now. But wait till they're spotted with the rudder damage. May not be able to avoid. Yeah, there's the torp there. Okay, I think Hercules will avoid that, which means both of these damaged cruisers are now Winchester for torpedoes. I think Hercules can probably straighten up now. I'm just turning our mains off for now. Wait till we're able to make the accuracy better. Scout can go back down to cruise. Right, that torpedo's a miss. Head back toward Preußen. However, oh right, the German armored cruisers do not have torpedoes. Okay, so there is no torpedo threat remaining whatsoever. Unless by some crazy chance one of those beat up destroyers happened to re-enter the fray. I do not believe they will. Preußen down to full propulsion damage. Unrepairable. All three compartments red. So she's some distance away, but that's going to be closing. Probably open up at something like 5 or 6 kilometers. Meanwhile, Hercules pressing ahead toward Preußen, which means Freya's kind of on the way there. I'm going to go ahead and start shifting her secondaries to Freya now. And meanwhile, I don't want to just completely leave these light cruisers in the wake here. So Scout and Terrible will continue to work on them. Okay, I think that's all fine for now. think I can speed up a little bit here. And time compression. Penetration chance is coming up. Accuracy is coming up. Wait till we're a little closer. I want to make these 144 rounds count. Oh, wait a minute. Afraid it's just asking for a torpedo shot here. Hard left. Let's turn that movement. Okay, if you get a nice solution, go ahead and fire, Scout. Crap, normal will do it. I would have thought. Crap. That looks kind of like a wasted opportunity there. Oh, because she's not targeting her. Damn it. That was my fault. Now she doesn't have a good geometry. I think she'll avoid that once they're spotted. Terrible's got torpedoes too. All right, yeah. Open up. Okay, Turble's going to have a really good geometry here in just a couple seconds. Then double check and make sure Scout has torps off. Yes. Alright, Terrible. Go ahead and take a shot. No, she's in a turn. That may not work out so hot. Fish away. Man, that's already looking like a terrible geometry. Not such a good job. And Preußen's still firing at the armored cruiser. Turbo should probably, yeah, AP, the 9-inch, hopefully. Preußen down to 38%. And fires and flooding as well. This is a new class of armored cruiser. This is not a Seydlitz after all. The Seydlitz class, which we had been seeing earlier in the campaign that they started with, has only 7-inch guns. These have 9s. It's also a different tonnage and a different max speed. Alright, so what do we got here? $10,449 tons, 27.4 knots. Max bulkheads. Standard crew. The other armored cruiser is few, so it looks like they learned that tactical lesson, huh? Up to 9-inch guns. 2 doubles. That's about all you can do on this class, on this hull. Bunch of 5-inch secondaries. A little bit of 3-inch and a little bit of 2-inch. No torpedoes. Which the earlier class, even though, you know, it's smaller main armament, it's pretty similar in secondaries. But the Seydlitzes do have torpedoes. This one does not. And I didn't write down what the Seydlitzes had, but this, I think it's probably roughly about the same amount of armor. I don't remember the earlier cruiser having notably more or less. It's probably a little different. All right. And getting ricochets at this angle. I'm going to stay with the auto though. Oh, slow back down to cruise. Apparently Freya is targeting Hercules with her 9-inch guns instead of Terrible. I think I am fine with that. Did Palau escape? I think it did. If it had sunk, it would have separated it into a separate division. Trouble's getting a little low on ammo herself. And Scout is actually out of 6-inch. What Scout is not out of is torpedoes. Come back up to max speed. Let me go finish off this light cruiser over here. I don't think there's been a ship actually sunk in this battle yet. Well, the poison's getting close. I guess at this distance, you may as well just fire your secondaries at poison as well. And Terrible's doing fine against Freya, who is now worse off than Terrible is, despite having been largely not in the fight for much of the battle, whereas Terrible's pretty much been tanking fire from everybody throughout. Scout getting closer to Kolberg. We shift fire to Kolberg. See if we can actually sink something over. Well, we're not even quite an hour and a half in yet. Hour and 15 minutes. Oh, there's some fire coming from Palau, who must be right over here. Freya now targeting all her fire at Scout, despite Terrible being right here off of her quarter, much closer. I'm fine with that. There's Palau. is also trying to run away. I'm going to turn Hercules back. No, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to mess up her gun accuracy in a turn with so few shells remaining. Okay, Freya's done. Terrible can shift fire to... Oop. There goes Poison. Hopefully there goes Kohlberg. Hopefully. Yes, no. 4%, 0%. Okay. All right. Well over an hour with no ships sunk, and then a BB, a CA, and a CL all go within, practically within seconds of each other. And all of a sudden, Palau is biggest ship remaining on the enemy side. She's probably not feeling real great about that. Save these 56 rounds for now. I don't... Hopefully Palau will be gone by the time Hercules gets back over there. Let's speed this up. Turbo save your few 9-inch rounds as well till you're a little closer too. Scout out of 6-inch, but still tons of 4-inch. I'm mainly trying to get in here for a torp shot, I hope. Scout's actually at a disadvantage because Palau is loaded down with 5-inch guns, tons of them. And Scout's got 4-inch. And not as many of them. Of course, her accuracy is much higher. The question is she going to get a decent torpedo geometry here? Palau still has plenty of maneuverability to avoid a shot that I make now. But we're also kind of hurting her back in the direction of Hercules and Terrible. Keeping max speed up, trying to get, I mean, we're just going to keep running circles around her. So, let's try something different. Like a hard turn. See how she reacts to that. See if we don't get a better shot. I think she would just turn back in the other direction, but maybe we can catch her in a good spot. As she's shifting rudder. We're not down to just one torpedo. Let's go ahead and take a shot. Torpedo away. Boom! There you go. Nice job, Scout. Okay, well that lasted a while. I kept it on X1 time compression all the way through, so I didn't get myself in trouble with torpedoes. And man, that went on for a long time with nothing getting sunk, but then boom, 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 boom right here at the end. Battleship down, armored cruiser, and 2 light cruisers. And the 2 destroyers limped off damaged early on. Okay. 6,400 victory points to less than 50. 4 ships sunk. 2 destroyers limped off with medium damage, so they'll be in the yard for a couple months. And it looks like, well, we'll see how it turns out. This is showing medium damage on Terrible. Yeah, medium. Light, medium, light. Well, that turned out all right. And I think that will do for this episode, which is probably a little longer than I had really expected or wanted it to be. Okay, so that flashed up, but didn't really look and see what the, because we couldn't, the battle was one of those mandatory ones that popped up right on the turn. Finished construction of 4 light cruisers and also an armored cruiser, which might have been the very one that we just sank. So they're kind of holding steady, but so they completed at least 5 ships. Who knows what scrolled off the bottom here. But we just sank 4 too, so kind of holding steady here. Not going to fight another battle this episode, but I will advance it. Before I do that, though, let's just double check and see if anyone's hanging out in a non-North Sea port. Okay. Trafalgar at Liverpool. So is Hercules, but she's repairing. 1 repairing at Barry. Scout repairing at Barry. All right then. Oh, and our extra our extra battle cruisers, Tiger Superb and Devastation, will be completing very, very soon. All right, I just need to move that 1 battle cruiser, Trafalgar. And just to make clear, I think people know this, but moving the ships to North Sea ports doesn't have anything to do, in my mind, with whether or not they find themselves in battles or not. You know, if I left Trafalgar here, she could still find herself in a battle. It's about keeping the ships in ports associated with the North Sea in order to influence the monthly transport losses. I think that's what the at least in the current state of the campaign, I think that's the significance of what ports your ships are in. For battles and also for power projection blockade purposes, I think any port is fine. Same for the Germans with Danzig and Palau. But all of those transport sunk messages you see, I've never seen one playing from either side, Germany or Britain. I've never seen one that says X transports sunk in Baltic Sea or Irish Sea or English Channel. It's always North Sea. So that's the reason why I keep moving ships to North Sea ports, regardless of which nation I'm playing. All right, let's see what may be coming up here in September. Aha! Washington Caps has been fired. Doesn't mean the campaign ends, but I think it might mean that Germany ran out of money, or the German Navy ran out of money. Or it could just be because, you know, our naval prestige is up to 94. It would be reasonable to assume that Germany's is negative 94. Maybe it reached minus 100. Maybe that's what got Admiral Caps or Minister Caps fired. Whoopee! We got Mark III 2-inch guns. Who is our new nemesis? Helmuth von Moltke. I guess they yanked him out of the general staff and sent him over to the Navy. I suspect things aren't going to go much better for Helmuth than they did for Washington. All right, then. I think that will do for this episode, as I mentioned. Thank you very much for watching.